Hey there! Welcome to another installment of Between the Weights. Although, I guess those are weights, right? So, with this new system that we got coming on board, that's going to help us track things that we're moving forward, right? Some of the workouts are going to just, the pattern of them is going to change slightly, right? Because we're going to be focusing, we're just going to be trying to overall make everyone a little bit better, right? So there's going to be some tiny changes to the program. What is not going to happen is this new thing is just going to completely overtake the program, right? Now, there's lots of things that are going to be measured, right? And there's two things I wanted to talk to you about, right? So we talked about strength. And there's two types of measurements when you're measuring how strong a person is, right? So we can measure absolute strength and we can measure relative strength, right? So if you think about a deadlift, right? And we just put everyone in a room and see who can deadlift the most and don't account for anything, right? That is what absolute strength is. Relative strength comes into play a little bit more when we start to make weight classes, right? And we like how really all sports are divided by men and women. There's a division between men and women, right? Because men in general are stronger, and so it's unfair for the women to have to compete against men because in general they just wouldn't win, right? Because objectively they're just not as strong, right? Relatively, a woman can be just as strong as a guy, right? So if we think about pull-ups, right? There are some women in the gym that can do pull-ups. There are some guys who can't. So relatively speaking, those women are stronger than the guys, right? So relative strength has to do with how strong you are compared to your body weight, right? So we can even take that into a deadlift. Say, I weigh 230 something pounds today, right? And I can deadlift 500 pounds. So that's double body weight, right? Now, some of the females, some of the girls, the women, ladies we have in the gym who only weigh 120 pounds, like half of my weight, right? But can still deadlift close to 200 pounds or so, are getting really close to that same double body weight strength while the number being wildly different, right? So that's the difference between absolute strength and relative strength, okay? So testing your absolute strength is going to promote people to just get stronger, right? To be able to lift more weights. And the relative strength is going to encourage us to lose the weight that we have on our body that's not functional, right? The weight that we have on here that doesn't help us, okay? That just makes the relative stuff a little bit harder, right? Like if I dropped 10 pounds, I could probably do more pull-ups because while my strength would stay about the same, the amount of weight that my having to move is gonna be different, so I'll be able to do more pull-ups, right? I think that idea probably isn't too difficult to sort of wrap your head around, right? So there's two different types of strength that we're gonna be testing, and we'll be using the different lifts and stuff like that. So that's the difference between absolute strength and relative strength, and why both are just as important as the other.